What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. We're back to some X Defiant today. After a crazy week in Call of Duty, I'm glad to be talking about X Defiant again, as this game has seen roller coasters of its own. But there's one thing that I've always admired about the way the developers have approached this game. They want to be transparent and they want to make a game that the community likes. It's not always about following their vision to a T. They want to empower their community. Now, I do feel they've fallen short in some areas, but I do want to take this one comment that I had on a recent video and I want to talk about it because this comment identifies exactly the approach that we need to start having with XDefiant, especially if we believe in this project. So let's dive into it. From Brainy Plains 177. The netcode is an issue the devs have already addressed, and they've stated that it will take a long time to work out. They've been fixing it gradually since the game's release, but no single patch is going to resolve all of the issues. The same more or less applies to ranked mode. Bringing up over and over again doesn't get the work done any faster, so they've simply stopped directly mentioning it. I can agree with that. Because as annoyed as I am repeating myself about the netcode or about ranked play not being good enough, I'm sure the developers are tired of mentioning it, are tired of hearing about it. They know it's a problem. They've addressed it several times. Now, do I feel as if the netcode isn't coming along as fast as it can? Yeah, but maybe it's best to not say, do this now, fix it now, say it's fixed now, and instead let them fix it properly. And the same thing goes for ranked. Don't rush the changes. Let the developers work on these changes methodically so that the game can thrive later on. And this might need some patience from myself included, but the entirety of the XDefiant community. If we believe in this game, patience is important. He continues, while I agree that there is a lack of content in the game that leads to players moving on from XDefiant, this isn't actually a problem. In fact, I'd call it a good thing. Finishing a game and playing a new one is how gaming should be. When new content is released, players will return. This is natural and healthy. This is a totally different perspective than what I'm used to. Because I come from a history of gaming where you just sunk all of your time into one or two games at a time. You didn't move from game to game to game. But now with modern day gaming, there's so much out there. There's so many other games to play. There's so many projects that are in the chamber right now that are being worked on that I'm excited about. That Delta Force game's coming out. There's other games that are going to take my attention away. So maybe content being trickled out in the fashion that XDefiant is doing it is going to be beneficial for them in the long run. And we're going to see this consistent ebbs and flows of the game. When they release new content, players come in, they enjoy it, they leave. Maybe the core player base doesn't need to be as large as what we all want it to be. Instead, if when they release the content, people come back because the content is so good, that's what can drive XDefiant forward. It's a little bit different of a way of thinking, but I totally understand it. I wouldn't say 100% agree, but I get the point of view. Let's dive into the next one. It is Ubisoft and not the devs who make the team advertise the bundles. They've also announced a free version of the X Coins with its own shop coming, so free players can buy things too. I understand that it's Ubisoft doing it. Don't get me wrong. I know that the developers aren't the ones that are putting this out, but they still need to make money at the end of the day. And the bundles are how they do it. So they need to advertise it even though it's getting absolutely roasted online. So totally understand. Last one, Mark Rubin has been visiting his 90-year-old mother, hence his silence on social media. When he returns, I'm sure he'll continue his communication with the community. And this is where I think I have to stop being the overly always online, terminally online type of person where I'm looking at somebody's Twitter every single day. It's not a healthy mindset to have, and people should be able to step away. I get it that the game isn't in the state that I personally want it in, but because Mark Rubin has stepped off, it does not mean that there's not developers working on it behind the scenes. It's not like he's the only guy that can fix the game, so I'm sure when he comes back to Twitter, he'll have a lot to say. That's the hope, at least. It concludes with, what I'm basically saying is to let the devs cook. If they rush out new content and fixes, then the results will be disastrous. Look at the game as a marathon and each patch, as a stepping stone towards the finish line. Expecting any one patch to be an out of the park home run will almost always result in disappointment. If the current state of the game isn't satisfactory, then play something else for a while. That's perfectly fine. The game will still be here when you come back. That is one of the best ways I've seen somebody finish off a comment in my comment section, I think, ever. So kudos to you. That concluding paragraph is amazing, and I think he packs in a lot of really sensible takes into a very short paragraph. First and foremost, let the devs cook. I'm in agreement with this. I think we do need to step back a little bit and just let the developers work on this game. It's going to take time. And like he said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We need to look at each patch as a stepping stone to the finish line, which is so well put. And the finish line feels extremely far away right now. But hopefully, as more and more comes out, this game's going to find its own little way to survive and be the game we want it to be. We know what it needs to get there, to get to the finish line. So let's watch in hopes that each stepping stone gets us closer there. And he's right, where, yeah, one patch isn't going to bring the game perfectly to where it needs to be. And that's a little bit of me being a little oblivious to the whole game design thing and how to properly develop games. It's wishful thinking. And as Brainy Plains puts it, results in disappointment, which is exactly what happened with this last patch. But hopefully, as time goes on, those patches near us closer to that finish line. And the last thing I want to touch on here is if the game isn't satisfactory, go play something else. And that's exactly what I've done. But it doesn't mean that I've uninstalled XDefiant. It doesn't mean that I'm waiting to move away from the game. I'm waiting for the game to be great when I come back. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm waiting for. And I think that's one of the beautiful things here is that XDefiant is going to continue to improve. And there's going to be a point in time where you come back to the game and you're going to be shocked with what's changed. And if that's the case, that is exactly what we're hoping for with the future of XDefiant. So let's hope that they continue to give this community hope, to continue to be honest with us with the direction of this game, because that is the hope that we're all waiting for, and that's the excitement that can build this game back into the success that we all want it to be. So that's it for the video today. I'm very curious to know your thoughts on what we discussed today. Are you growing a little impatient? Do you think that we just all need to take a step back, breathe, and wait this thing out? After all, it's a free-to-play game. And there's other games out there that can take our time up while Ubisoft is cooking on this game in the meantime. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, can you please hit that like button? If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.